Donkey Kong is dead. Nice to meet you. I'm having a rough week. It was a late and stormy night when I did happen upon this game, which is a fancy way of saying my friend sent me a link and I clicked on it. And boy, am I glad that I did. Picture the coolest indie game that you can imagine and multiply it by any number that you can think of, and that's Windswept. Don't think about that too hard, let's move on. Windswept, in its simplest sense, is a 2D platformer with heavy inspiration from Donkey Kong Country 2. Why 2 specifically? Remind me later, we don't have time! The character controls, the platforming style, even down to the collectibles and bonus levels feel like somebody was just as impatient as I was for a new Donkey Kong Country game. In Windswept, you play as Marbles the Duck and Checkers the Turtle as you run, jump, and throw each other at enemies, wherever they may happen to be. Each stage has the primary goal of moving from left to right, and some extra goals of collecting bonus moons, hidden clouds, and the special comet coin that only appears at the end if you collected the 5 hidden comet letters throughout. Windswept is good. Like, really good. According to the small dev team, which includes that speedrunner on YouTube who uses a dance pad, there were actually multiple inspirations for the game. Donkey Kong Country 2, which you still have to remind me about, as well as a handful of other charming and well-made platformers. But if you're listing Celeste as an inspiration, you have to absolutely bring it! And there wasn't a moment of gameplay where I didn't feel that heat, baby. Well, actually, the boss fight was really easy, but it's probably boss 1, it's fine. And he's so cute, and the storytelling was so subtle, and anyway, one of the most crucial pieces of this game was hard to notice at first. But then I replayed that ukulele sequel that was supposed to be similar to this concept, and that's when it hit me. These controls are garbage! Yuka is so slippery and imprecise, but every single movement you make as checkers or marbles feels intuitive. Like you were born as a weird turtle-duck hybrid from the Avatar universe. Either Avatar, they probably both have them. And to top it off, there are a lot of simple things that start to get a lot more complex as you interact with them, and that complexity never loses that smooth gameplay feel. Early on, you find out you can throw your partner around, which has different interactions depending on who you're controlling. Checkers can toss marbles to get some extra height or do some tricky platforming, and marbles can toss checkers to absolutely brain your enemies. Both of these moves are useful and feel good on their own, but then they start layering in some of that special spice, if you catch my drift. Spices like the ability to use checkers as a trampoline after he lands, yeah. What's even more impressive is the tutorial aspects of the game. While sometimes it's just a simple looping video of a ghost turtle spinning around, it usually has a lot more depth than that. Like one of the bonus levels being a string of ground pound maneuvers where at the end they show you how to dash out of a ground pound. The one that I thought was the coolest was in the second level. First you see a lizard that spins off of a ledge just like you can, proceeding to jump in midair. If you've played Donkey Kong like I have, that already seems like a tutorial because you can copy his movements. If you haven't, however, the next platform has some stars laid out in exactly that pattern to guide you into trying it yourself. So many of the things that work in a specific way don't give you any information. The game is all about experimenting with what works and what doesn't, and a lot of the design either gives you open space to try things out, or enemy placements that almost force you to learn something by accident. This all culminates in a fantastic extra level that you can access after collecting everything in the demo. This level starts off by teaching you a new technique and then asking you to go off the walls with it. Every useful tactic from before is present here, as they expect you to learn on the fly about all of the specific ways you can use this move, leading up to a crazy gauntlet at the end where you're chaining together a bunch of different fancy movements. It is awesome. It is the reason I game for moments like this. Well, and also because Checkers puts on sunglasses and breakdances if you beat the stage as him. The game has a deep level of charm and amazing attention to detail, to the point where I've played even just the demo multiple times just to play around with the controls and see what kind of crazy stuff you can pull off. Ah, crap, I almost forgot. You were supposed to remind me about Donkey Kong Country 2. Can't find good help these days. Well, for one thing, the second game is just everyone's favorite, probably because it's the hardest. I mean, look at this stage compared to this one. Same game. But also, the bonus stages play out exactly like the ones from Diddy's Conquest, and the partner tossing mechanic wasn't introduced until that game. Less skilled fans like myself might prefer the easier third game, but difficulty is important because I must rant. I already saw complaints that the game might be too easy because it removed the life system, and then more complaints that they might add an easy mode. Life systems are the worst. They don't make the game harder, they make it more annoying. It isn't hard to redo a bunch of levels I already completed because I got a game over, it just wastes my time. If anything, you can make challenging sections even harder, knowing that if a player fails, they'll be put right in front of it as many times as they need. And just don't play the easy mode if you don't like it, that one's obvious. Let more people enjoy the game, stop being gatekeepers, we can all have fun. But also, based on that challenge level, I think the developers certainly intend to leave some hard parts in the game. And my rant wasn't all in vain, because there are actually 2 secret unlockable difficulties with a very minor spoiler coming up. If you beat everything and collect everything, the game gives you a quick tip. On a new save, if you complete the first level without ever picking up checkers, it'll ask you if you want to play hard mode or very hard mode. Hard is marbles only, which means you won't be able to collect anything that requires both characters, and you only have 1 health at any point in time. Very hard is the same thing, but you play as the much cooler checkers, who can't fly, and all of the checkpoints in the level are removed as well. They aren't much, but given how interesting each character and the movement in general are, it's very fun to have an excuse to play a little bit more. All in all, why haven't you wishlisted this game yet, or played the free demo? I mean, look at the octopus, he just wants his hat back. Go! Stop watching this video. I'm not popular or energetic enough to leave something hidden at the end. Seriously, I just don't know how to end this, and it keeps going, and I don't have the equipment to make a fancy transition, and it'll probably just cut off. Hey guys, thanks for watching to the end of the video. This one's dedicated to Onyx. I don't really have any recommendations for you right now, so if you liked the video, maybe give it a like or subscribe to my channel. Thanks!